Hey everyone, I'm just going to go over a quick little tutorial on how exactly I edit and create documents inside Google Slides. The sky's the limit with Google. You can replicate this to a good extent on PowerPoint, but in general, Google, because it is browser-based, the application, it has a lot more synchronization with the internet. Okay, and it also automatically saves so you don't lose your work. Alrighty, so here I am creating a marine themed poster or even a PowerPoint. So the first thing that I want to show you is how exactly I can change the size of my layout as well as the orientation. So again, I'm going to File, scroll down to Page Setup, and as we can see, we have a couple different options. We're going to go down to Custom, and I like to use 11 by 8.5. If I wanted this to be vertical, then I would have to switch the numbers, right? So this is the width, this is the height, and this allows me to basically create posters that I can later print if I choose to, right? So first up is going to be changing the background, right? So we're going to be here in this navigation bar. We're going to click on background, and I can either change color, right? I can even make it somewhat transparent. So I can click on custom, pick any color that I want. And if you guys can see here, we have a slider for transparency. So I can actually make a semi-transparent background. And again, here we have the slider for colors and so on and so forth. The interesting thing about playing around with the colors is that it actually, if you have a custom color, it will save it. So you can just easily click it next time that you are in the document, and you don't have to be, precisely trying to find it within the color picker. So what if you want to actually have a background image like the one that I have here, where you're going to click choose image, and there's a couple of different things that are going to pop up. You can have the upload option, camera, URL, right? Photos. And so in this case, Google Suite actually has a place for you to upload photos. And as you can see, I've uploaded a multitude of images, which I've used in my, my classes. Same thing, Google Drive. If you have images stored within a folder, you can select that. But what's pretty nifty about Google Slides is that you can actually just do a quick Google image search. So let's say I want to do, underwater, right? I want to find an image that is underwater, and, very easily I can just click like this, insert, done, okay? And it's so easy to just quickly, pick a background, make it nice, make it pretty. So what I want to show you is how exactly you can add images to your poster. So the very important thing about adding images is you have to make sure that the images have a transparent background, okay? So that's going to be super, super important. Alrighty, so here we have the Mast at FIU logo. This is going to, of course, be transparent. So when I place it onto the document, there's no white background or any other color potentially behind it. Okay, so how exactly do I get these images, right? Do I need to be a Photoshop whiz? No, I do not, right? So you are actually going to go to the Insert tab up at the top of the navigation bar. You're going to go down to Image, and we're actually going to do Search the Web, right? Now, if you happen to have a document such as a PNG, right? That's P as in pear, N as in Nancy, G as in giraffe. If you have a PNG, or even something like a GIF or a TIFF, any of those file types, then you can definitely upload directly from your computer, and they're going to pretty much show up without a background. But let's say we don't have that, we want to search the web. Okay, so here we have, I tried to look up Manta GIF, so let's put Manta. And again, I'm not really finding anything other than maybe this one. Let's select it. Now in this case, it's not really transparent. That can happen sometimes when you are searching for images on the web. So let's continue. Let's try Manta PNG. Okay, here we have an image. We're gonna place it. Nope, still not working. Sometimes it's a hit or miss. Oops. So insert, search the web. Let's do marine animals. And let's do PNG. Okay, so here we have some potential candidates, right? So let's pick this one here. There we go. So, there is like a little bit of a trial and error to doing it through the search the web. But it is an option if you're, if you're not really wanting to go to special sites and download and then re-upload and so on and so forth. So all of these images that you see here on the left and on the right side, I actually found through the search the web function, right? So again, if you feel lucky, you want to give it a try, you can easily find images that way. Another good tip is that while you are searching the web, you can also put the keyword transparent, and that should also help you find images that should have a transparent background. And there we go. So again, it depends on how you phrase your search terms. Okay. So one thing that I'm about to show you is how can you make it so that, one image is on top of the other. So because the most recent image that I just pasted onto my document are these sharks, they're going to be hovering over my starfish, right? What if I want the starfish to actually be in front of my sharks, right? I'm gonna right-click the starfish. So let me move it over. I'm gonna right-click the starfish. I'm going to go to order, and I can put bring to the front or bring forward, depending on, if I want the starfish to be the very first thing on the document, or maybe behind something else or in between. For our purposes, I'm just going to bring to the front. And what before we saw that the starfish was behind the sharks, we are now going to see the starfish is in front of the sharks, right? So let's say we want the sharks to be in front of the starfish. We're going to click the sharks. We're going to right click, and we're going to bring to the front. And now the sharks are over the starfish. Okay. So this is really useful when you have a lot of different images that are stacked one on top of the other, and you want to have a certain order to them. You want them to be stacked a certain way. You can definitely fine tune it. Okay. So I want to show you real quick some websites that are very useful to finding these images with transparent backgrounds, right? So I've put down here in this comment box my favorite websites. The important thing when looking up images online is, of course, the royalty. So, some people upload images that require attribution. You have to put like a little credit somewhere on the document, on the poster. So I've actually curated, quite a few resources that do not require attribution. There's only one that does, and that's going to be freepick.com. So here are some of them. Pexels.com does not require attribution, and you can actually use all the images in a commercial manner as long as they are modified. So, as long as we're not printing images from this website and selling them for $5, then we are totally, you know, okay to use it for commercial purposes. And I would highly, highly recommend using a site like pexels.com in the yearbook, right? Because usually we are modifying the images in one way or another. Another example would be pixabay.com, unsplash.com, and here we have free png img.com. This site is a little tricky because it can potentially host some copyrighted materials, but because we are in education and a lot of the things that we do are, you know, for educational purposes, it would fall under fair use as long as we are not making money off of it. Here we have favepng.com. So there's a lot of PNGs. Again, those are those transparent images. And basically, if you go to favepng.com, you download whatever you like, but you do have to check to see that the image you are downloading is indeed royalty free. Some images require attribution, some do not. But of course, on all of these websites, you can filter by what royalty status you are looking for. I always pretty much go for royalty-free and commercial use allowed, okay? So let's go to favepng.com just to show you an idea of what this looks like. So again, our theme is marine animals. And so all I've done on favepng is type marine. Oops. Okay, just making sure my screen is shared. So here we are, favepng. I've typed into the search bar marine, and all of these images are pretty much ready to drop onto our document. So let's scroll, scroll, scroll. Wow, lots of pretty images here. Let's see, what can we use for this document? Oh, wow, look at this one. It has a whole bunch of animals. So we're gonna click on it. Okay. Let's see, what does it say? Personal use, non-commercial only. Okay, sure. We're gonna download the PNG. And of course, a lot of these websites, it's highly recommended to get an account because they allow you to download a lot more images per day. Sometimes there is a limit, okay? You can also subscribe or pay a fee, and it basically allows you to have a lot more access to resources. So we're going to insert, image, upload from computer. Okay, here we go. Now, guess what? All of these images were basically smushed together. How can we make it so that we only add this little yellow fish, right? So this is what we're going to do. Okay, we are going to actually copy this image. We're going to duplicate it. If you're on a Windows computer, all you have to do is click on the image, press Control, and drag. And just like that, we've duplicated our image. So let me move this to the side, just so that we do not have all of this in the way. And so in order to isolate this little fish, we're going to right click and we're going to crop image. And so these little black tabs are going to surround the image. We're just going to, you know, crop around our fish. And now sometimes this happens where, you know, it gets smushed. We're just going to Control Z. We're going to revert. We're going to undo. So that's a nice little shortcut, Control Z, and your image goes back to where it was before. And so again, here we are. We're cropping around our little fish. We're gonna click enter once we have what we desire. And just like that, okay? And I can make many, many versions of this little fish. I'm gonna duplicate it. So I'm gonna hold Control, I'm gonna drag, and I make another duplicate. Now say that I want to resize it. Say that I want to make a whole school of fish from this image, right? I'm gonna, again, I have selected my image. We can see it by the box surrounding it. And I'm going to press, let's see, I can press Control, and it's basically going to proportionately resize the image, or I can press Shift. And Shift basically also does the same thing. So let's make the fish smaller. We're gonna, again, press Control, duplicate. We're gonna select this image, which it already is. Okay, it's selected. We're gonna press Shift, and you can see that I have turned on guides. These little red lines basically allow me to align my image to what's surrounding this object, right? So again, we're gonna Control, drag. It's already selected, so all we gotta do is select Shift, drag to a corner, Control, right, Shift, and just like that, we have basically made a school of fish. Okay, Control, drag. And just like that, we have literally isolated this little tiny fish, and we have made something new out of it. Let's do one more thing, right? Let's take this, it appears to be a manta, right? We want to isolate this manta from the rest of the images. So again, we have selected it. We see the blue border around. We're gonna Control, drag, okay? We're gonna right click. We're going to find crop image. We're gonna see these black tabs. And we're gonna try our very best to crop. Now the issue here is that because the marine animals are so packed together, if I were to try to include you know, the entirety of the manta, I would have kind of like an overlap of this fish's fin right here. So we're gonna do our best. Okay. Perhaps this is as much as we can use. Oh, wait, still got a crop. Hold up. Enter. And so, oh, nope, still cropping. There we go. And we click enter. So, you know, an example of this, you know, you might want to put this one in the corner, right? Just kind of like have it hanging there so that we cannot see where we have cropped. So, you know, that's a strategy. Okay. Now, real quick, you know, when we're adding text, you know, text, you know, obviously this is very plain, etc. We're going to go to our fonts, and we can actually, you know, we can actually add more fonts in Google Slides. So we're going to go to more fonts, because I don't really like any of these. You know, there's not really anything that pops out to me. So I'm going to go to more fonts. And here we go. We have basically a huge variety of fonts. And as long as I keep scrolling, you know, I'm going to keep finding more. Let's see. I like this one. I like Norican. So I'm going to click Norican. It's a font that I've never used before. I'm going to click OK. And so now Norican has been added to my font library within Google Slides. And the next time that I create any Google Slides, I believe Google Docs as well, it's going to be there, right? So this is how we can easily add fonts to our documents, right? So again, we select. Okay, we can add. We can make the text transparent. So let's say we want this to be like a somewhat teal color. We're gonna pick this teal aqua. Oh, apparently I cannot do it with text. How unfortunate. But typically, you know, if you create a shape, so we're going to go to Insert, Shape, right? If we create a shape, we can definitely customize the color of our shapes, right? So here we do have access to transparency, right? So, you know, you can play around with this like that. If you want to change the border, you want to eliminate that border around that shape we just did, you go to border color, which is this pencil right next to the fill color icon, and you can just click transparent. Or if you want, you can just pick orange. And say you want to thicken the border, you're going to click border weight, and so on and so forth. You can actually even customize the color, you know, just by clicking there. If you want to have a fancy border type, you can click on border dash. So that's pretty much it. I hope you found this to be pretty useful, and have fun.